Hi everybody, this is a quick screencast on how to install OpenCart on 00 web host. So you can use the same logic for a shared host if you'd like. It'll be very similar, but I'll assume that you know how to FTP to your own website and that you have the database credentials. So what I'm going to do is, I've already downloaded OpenCart. It's sort of going to mirror what I did in class. I'm going to delete the prefix here and then go ahead and extract all to my desktop. I'm doing that because there is no decompression tool on this free hosting service. And by decompression tool, I mean an unzipper, something that will unzip a zipped file on the desktop. This is, of course, an issue because OpenCart has so many files in it, it takes a long time to FTP. So what I'm going to do first here while we're waiting for that to unzip is to create a connection of FTP to my shared host here. So I'm going to create a new site. The SID will be called, just call it OpenCart. And my host is always files.000, whoops, helps if I spell, .com. And I'll use straight old FTP. I'll use just plain old FTP here, and I'll use normal. And the user will be, the user is right in front of us right there. See the username? And the password is what we use to get in. So I'll use my same password. And I'll click connect. And hopefully we are a go here. So it looks like the directory is successful. So this public underscore HTML folder, I am going to simply take my values from this section under OpenCart. And what I could do, honestly, is take all these values and upload it. Let's say this is the root level. Okay, and this is very, very important because for everyone in the class, I've been instructing you to drag the folder, upload onto your server. That's because I don't want it to be the home page of your personal website. That should probably be your portfolio page. So that's a vital thing, and if you're working with a client, you probably want it in a dev folder. So just for now, if you wanted it to be on the root, all you'd have to do is upload all the files and folders that are inside the upload folder into that section. For now, I'm just going to simply upload. I'll create a dev folder because that mirrors most of what you guys are doing, and it kind of mirrors what we did last night. So inside this dev folder, this is where my install will be. Of course, this is called OpenCart Demo, so eventually I'll probably move everything up to the root and I'll change the configuration so that literally it says OpenCart or Christian DC Core here .000webhostapp.com. That would be appropriate since this will only be used for OpenCart. So now that this is loading, while we're uploading, I'm going to take the opportunity to scroll up to the top and create a database. Let's make sure we have a database and all the things that are necessary for OpenCart to be installed. So I'm clicking on Manage Database. Let's hope it allows me to. There we go. You see the little progress bar here. Takes a second, that's for sure. And now I'm in my Managed Databases. So right now we don't have any databases, so I'm going to go ahead and create one. And let's go ahead and just call this OpenCart. So this will be our OpenCart database. And my database username can be KDCcore. And I'm going to make this the same password I used for entry into the site. So right now it's creating the database. That'll take just a second. And once it's done, we'll have access to that GUI that you learned, PHP MyAdmin, with a link on the right. So let's check on our upload while we're doing this. That's interesting. There, I'm going to do always use this action for FTP on that. And we'll keep going. This is why you check, because FTP with a new site will ask you if you want to overwrite something. So we don't want to waste time here. So this database is almost done, and then I can get my credentials ready for myself. Cool. So under management here, you'll see phpMyAdmin. But the cool thing is I have my database name, my username, my host, and I already know my password. So I'm going to open up phpMyAdmin here. And this should be ready to go. And if we have to log in again, then so be it, because I have my credentials now. So the username and password here is going to be this username. You see how I copied and pasted right after? That's because I don't trust myself. And my password here. That's the same password I just created. So once I install this, now we've got our database, and this is the actual database itself. I can click the plus symbol and you'll see that I shouldn't have any tables in yet. The information schema, that's about permissions. That's about who has access to what. And inside that information schema, I should have user privileges, user statistics, and things that relate to the DB, but this is not to be touched. And then down here I have MySQL, which will have its own database, and inside there, generally, it's a structure that can be modified whenever we need to change something. So again, these are about privileges and indexes and setting things up. So very rarely will you even see this in your version of phpMyAdmin. It's sort of interesting that OpenCart allows it. So I'm going to go back to my FTP here and make sure that we're still uploading. Looks like we're good. Looks like everything got transferred. So let's go ahead and go to the website itself, which is going to be, oh my goodness, I have a lot of stuff up. So I'm going to go to Christian DC Core, and this is the root. So I'm going to go to dev, and it should be the upload inside that. So here you see upload, and what can happen is now we've got the config. So what I believe happened is that we have far more files than folders. See here, we only have we have a lot of failed transfers, I believe. I don't see it, but I am a little bit concerned because the upload folder. See, there you go. This is why it hasn't been zipped yet. So time remaining is 23 minutes. I uploaded as much as it had been unzipped. Now it's 10 minutes. So what I'm going to do is pause, wait for this to unzip, and then re-upload, and then come back. Well, that took a long time. So now that we're back, all I have to do is click on the upload folder. And when we see this message, that's when we can go ahead and install. So what's happening right now is, first thing's going to happen is it's going to look for problems, and you can just read through about configuration settings, making sure the appropriate extensions are installed for PHP. Those are just additional modules. Making sure we have the correct permissions on files, and make sure that the directories are all writable. Because what will happen is when we install this, the system will write to these folders by putting files in them. And when we enter our credentials, it's going to write to these configuration files. So first thing, let's fix the configs. Like right now, as it comes in the can, config is named config.dist, and if we edit this, you can take a good look at it. It should have all your credentials for the database. Now right now there's nothing, but after we enter our stuff, we're going to have credentials. So we have to make sure we change it there and in the admin. So I'm just clicking on FileZilla and deleting and hitting enter. So now when I hit refresh here, install, everything's writable, everything's a go. I can go ahead and continue. So right here, my database connection, I'm going to choose PDO, but feel free to use SQLI. Either one's fine. And my localhost, on most servers it'll just be called localhost, but on mine it's actually this. This is my database. And you can get that both in phpMyAdmin or inside the management section of your managed databases. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that, and I'm going to grab my username, which is this right here, making sure I have everything selected. Okay, and so that's my username. My password. The database itself is this right here, actually. I was wrong to put it there. Let's make sure my host is okay. Yeah, it is localhost, so I was wrong. Just like most servers, it is called localhost. Guys on DreamHost, you have a different one. But to my knowledge, everything else is the same. So what I'm going to do is add my email. And you just use admin. That's what I'm using, but obviously that's not very secure. I just want to make sure that we remember it. And you see by default it comes with a British flag, which would be fine, but we have to make sure our currency is working. Okay, so now we're continuing. What's happening is the PHP is actually writing to the file, which is kind of cool.